Welcome back, students of BA Part 2nd, Government College Chaksu. This is Dr. Anshu Sharma, and today I shall be doing the second half of the poem that I had begun yesterday, that is An Old Woman. Here, the collection, that photograph is there before you, and now here you have the part that I had done yesterday. I had ended here, the fourth paragraph, where I had discussed how the old woman, interacts with the young tourist and how she tries to extract a 50 paisa coin from him, and the way the words have been used by the poet to describe what happens, how it happens, and what is the interaction, what is the talk that goes on between these two people. So we come to know that she is asking for 50 paise, and in return she wants to take him to the horseshoe shrine, but the tourist refuses because he's already visited that place. Now let's move on from there. Here now you can see the next part. You turn around and face her with an air of finality. You want to end the farce. Again, you can see three lines, but they are like, there's a kind of a staccato is being, that rhythm is there. Though there's no rhyme scheme, yet there is a certain rhythm to the words. There is certain rhythm to one happening after the other. There's a connection, and here you can see that finally the tourist, he turns around and he looks at her face to face, like looking at somebody very squarely. When you look into the eyes and you decide that you have to face this person, you have to face this situation, and the words with an air of finality, that he wants to get rid of this old lady, he wants to end this farce. He is using the word farce. Now what does farce mean? Farce means जिसको हिंदी में कहते तमाशा. So this is like, for him it is a farce. Please understand these words. Each word that has been used is extremely important. There's a reason behind as to why the poet has taken up these particular words to convey what he's trying to say. So here, with an air of finality. Now, the tourist means business. Okay, enough is enough. I do not want to give my 50 paisa to you. I do not want to go to the horseshoe shrine, and I want to get rid of you. This is the air, this is the attitude that the tourist has now. So he turns and looks at her and he wishes to end this interaction. He wishes to end this nonsensical interaction as far as he is concerned. Please understand this. So then you say, when you hear her say, what else can an old woman do on hills as wretched as these? Now, these words literally, they, hit you. They kind of, it's a cry of a helpless person. She's an old woman. Maybe she does not have a family. Maybe she does not have anybody to support her, right? And she's living maybe in a far off place which is far away from the city. There is no other form of employment. This is a tourist destination where she lives. There are old buildings, there are old temples here, and people come to visit here. So what else can she do? There is no other form of labor, or there's no other form of job through which she can, take care of herself or fulfill her needs. So this is like a kind of a rhetorical question. Please understand. She says, what else can an old woman do on hills as wretched as these? And the answer is nothing. Okay, so when the tourist has decided to get rid of this lady, the lady comes back, that old lady comes back with this dialogue, with this question, which forces the tourist to reconsider his action, to reconsider his attitude, to reconsider his response. So here now just this question is like, you can read kind of, it's a poignant, it's a touching, it's a helpless cry. And the way she's describing the hills for the tourist may be something very beautiful. Like, for example, we people also, if we have gone out for holidays, we go to hill stations, or we go to the seaside, or we go to the forest. For us, it's all beautiful, and everything has got a feeling of happiness for us because we are tourists. But just imagine, inverse, the situation. Suppose you're living in those places. Suppose you are living in a tourist place and you have to make a livelihood out of that place. You have to do something for your living. Then that place, which is something very special for the tourist, is not so special for you, because it's an everyday happening for you, it's an everyday place for you, and it's like a constant struggle for you to exist on those mountains, on those far off mountains where there is no other form of work. There is nothing else for you to do. Either maybe you can open up a small restaurant, or maybe you can have a small tea shop, or you can sell some trinkets. But this old lady seems to be very poor. She does not even have that kind of resource to be able to start up any of these small shops or setups. So she is helpless. So for her, these hills are wretched. Wretched means something which only gives pain, something that is really like something destitute, something not happening, something not very happy, something that is sad. Okay, so these hills for her are wretched, not beautiful, as they might be for the tourist. Okay, so you see the difference in perception. You see the difference in perception of the same place. How a tourist would perceive those hills, and how this old lady perceives those hills, which are silent, which are, kind of looking upon her helplessness, and they don't do anything to help her out. Okay, then when the lady says this, now you see in the next three lines, what does the tourists do? You look right at the sky, you look up at the hills, you look up at the sky, clear through the bullet holes she has for her eyes. Now see the metaphor that has been used here. Her eyes have been compared to bullet holes. बुलेट क्या होती है? पिस्तौल में से निकली हुई गोली, ठीक है? और उसकी जो आईज हैं, दे आर बीइंग कंपेयर्ड टू बुलेट होल्स. नाउ इफ something has been hit with a bullet and it kind of leaves a hole, it burns through, it leaves a kind of a black burnt hole. Nothing beautiful about it, nothing happy about it. Rather, it is something very stark, something painful, something sad, something dark. So, when the tourist looks very carefully, he looks back, he looks at the sky, he looks at the hills. And what does he look at all these through? Whose eyes? He looks at all these things through the eyes of this old woman. Please understand the metaphor. Please understand what the poet is trying to say very carefully. Now, the tourist, while he has come to visit this place, he has come here with his own eyes, with his own viewpoint, with his own preconceived notions, with his own ideas. And for him, maybe the beautiful hill, maybe the beautiful sky, maybe the beautiful temple, maybe the beautiful surroundings give a lot of pleasure. Okay, because he's a tourist, he's only come there for a very short while, he doesn't have to live there. But when he sees at all these things through the point of view of the old lady, then all these things lose their charm. They become stark, they become empty, they become painful, they become wretched. Okay, and why has the eye been described as a bullet hole? Because maybe firstly the physical aspect, because maybe the lady is very old and she has wrinkles all on her skin. उसकी skin जो है बिल्कुल shrink हो गई है, जैसे old age में आपकी skin जो है elasticity खत्म हो जाती है, बहुत सारी लाइनें पड़ जाती हैं चेहरे के ऊपर, और आँखें जो हैं वो धंस जाती हैं, छोटी हो जाती हैं, दिखती नहीं है, so something like that. They just look like small black holes. So that pain of being old, that pain of being poor, that pain of being helpless, all that is conveyed through the description of this old lady and her eyes, which appear to be dark holes which have been left through a bullet, which have been, it's that kind of a description, that kind of dark, stark description. And it is through her eyes that he looks at the surrounding area. It's her point of view which the tourist understands when he sees or looks or listens to what the old lady has to say. Now, moving on, and as you look on, the cracks that begin around her eyes spread beyond her skin. So again, this is description of her physical presence, and because she's so old, her skin is totally weathered, and those wrinkles that begin in her eyes, they are, kind of spread all around on her skin. Now, this is a very common sight. All of us have seen, maybe our grandmothers, maybe our great grandmothers, when they are like old, all their skin becomes very leathery, it becomes hard, it becomes all lined, and it seems as if the whole face is, full of cracks. That is what the poet is telling us. And the hills crack, and the temples crack, and the sky falls. Now, this paragraph is very important because whatever, how should I say this? You can say that there is a complete inversion of the perception that the tourist had before he interacted with this lady about this particular tourist destination. Okay, this is what it means. The hills crack. No longer do they look beautiful. They seem to be weathered. They seem to be wretched. They seem to be ugly. They seem to be full of cracks. Okay, the temples crack. The temples no longer look beautiful. They seem broken. They seem old. They seem decaying. Okay, the beauty is lost. And the sky falls. The sky falls. Now this is a very important line. Sky fall कहते हैं कि जब प्रलय आ गई या जब दुनिया ख़त्म हो गई तो sky fall उसको कहते हैं. As if the skies have fallen. As if the heavens have fallen. This is what the tourist feels when he understands what the lady is going through, what kind of life she is leading, what kind of problems she is facing because of her old age, because of her poverty, because of her restrictions, because of her limitations of having to stay in this forsaken place. For her, it is a forsaken place. Okay? Then see, with a plate glass clatter around the shatterproof crone who stands alone. So again, this is it's a further explanation, the whole idea which is explained in the second paragraph. The same idea is being continued in this third paragraph because he's just explaining, he is just telling how, like for example, a plate, if there's a plate made of bone china, if it falls with a clatter. There is a lot of sound. It breaks into pieces. So with the plate glass clatter around the shatterproof crone. Now please understand, this is a very, very important line. Glass plate, that imagery is being used because the poet wants to tell how the tourist feels when he finally understands what the old woman is trying to say. Okay, then the second line of this third paragraph, you see, around the shatterproof crone. Now crone, what does crone mean? Crone is referring to the old woman. Crone is usually a word used for a very old, ugly woman. So this woman, she is shatterproof. This terminology is extremely important. Why does he say, why has he used this word shatterproof? Shatterproof is something that cannot be broken. That, is tough. Like for example, there is certain crockery. Now he's used the imagery of a crockery. A glass plate is something that can break very easily. It shatters, it makes a lot of noise, and it breaks into multiple pieces. Okay. Meanwhile, on the other hand, you have crockery that is unbreakable. Or you have, plates made of steel. They do not break, even if they fall, even if you throw them with great vigor, throw them with great force, they do not break. Okay. So this particular imagery has been used to tell us how this old woman has become shatterproof. She has become unbreakable. She has become toughened because the circumstances that she has to face in her life, all that she has faced in her life, all the ups and downs that she has faced in her lives, all the poverty that she is facing, all the hardships that she is facing, finally, all these things have made her shatterproof. All these things have made her unbreakable. All these things have made her strong. This is what the poet is trying to tell us, that against the tide she is, kind of going against the tide, and she has become stronger with each passing moment, with each passing day. And it's all because of her circumstances that have hardened her. Then she stands there alone. Again, a very poignant, very heart touching line. This is because she's all alone. There's nobody to take care of her. That is the reason why she's out on the streets. If she had a family, or if she had children who would take care of her, or maybe if she had enough resources that her needs were fulfilled, then she would not be out, begging, or trying to force strangers to give her 50 paise, right? So she stands alone. This is so painful. This imagery is so heart touching. She stands there alone, and she is shatterproof. She is strong, and you are reduced to so much small change in her hand. And the last three lines, or rather last two lines, these lines are like the concluding lines, and the poet is kind of, जिसको कहते हैं sum up कर दिया पूरा वो जो what he is trying to explain, what he is trying to tell us, that he summed up in these last couple of lines, that the tourist finally realizes the smallness of his being, how insignificant he is, how unimportant his irritation is, how unimportant his impatience is. Because, in comparison to this old lady, he is very well off. He's come here to enjoy himself. He's got enough money that he can travel all the way to this place and, look at the temples and look at the hills and look at the mountains, and you spend time on a holiday. Here, for him, it's just a time pass. And for this lady, it is matter of her livelihood. It's matter of her existence. It's matter of her very being. So, this tourist finally, realizes the smallness of his being. That how petty he is being by denying just a 50 paise coin to this lady. This lady is so much needy. She's desperate. She's poor. Yet, she's strong. She's unbreakable. She's become stoic, because this is what fate, has in store for her. This is her fate. So she has become hardened. She's unaffected by anything. But at the same time, this tourist realizes how insignificant his irritation is, how the smallness. That's the main idea that the poet is trying to tell us, that we as people who are privileged, or we as people who have enough to keep us together, we people who are better off, we should be feeling all those troubles, all those problems, all those difficulties that people like this old woman face in their day to day life. So there is an inner meaning also, which the critics have gone through. This is the end of the poem. I hope you've understood it. It's a very interesting poem. You can see Arun Kolatkar has used very simple words. The English is very, very simple, but the ideas that he is, conveyed are extremely significant. They are strong. They are rich in meaning, right? And the critics have looked into this poem as a relationship between the developing nations and the developed nations. Okay, like those developed nations, they are not bothered about anything. They are rich, they have enough resources, they are well off, they are happy. Whereas the developing nations or the poor nations, they stand ignored. They are desperate. They need resources, they need money. They are poor in comparison. They have so many difficulties, but they are ignored. They are ignored by the developed nations. They are ignored by the richer countries. So this kind of a political meaning has been read into this particular poem by the critics. So you can look at it that way also. So Arun Kolatkar has succeeded in showing so many different layers through this very simply worded poem, I would say. He has given a very rich meaning. He has told us so many things, and at different levels, things become clear. And we ourselves realize certain things about our inner being and how we, how we stand vis-a-vis the world, how we, equate with different people at different levels, or you can say at levels that are different from ours. So there's a kind of, our kind bone is touched, I would say that. Our empathetic bone is touched, I would, explain it this way. And we are forced to think, or rather, we are forced to rethink of where we stand in this world and what are we here for? How are we supposed to, you know, treat people who are not as lucky as us? Okay, I hope what I have explained is clear. This is the end of the poem. The, very soon I shall be doing maybe we have two more poems, The Bus and Chaitanya. So let's see. Again, short poems, but I'll be seeing you soon. Till then, revise this poem, go back to your notes, and I shall share an assignment also with you very soon. So, till then, have a happy Saturday. Stay safe, take care. Bye bye.